water's now going down.
Oh, so she's undoing the lock. And here we are at Hampstead Lock.
Hippie holiday.
And the young lady is trying to get the lock open. She has a key in her hand of some sort. Undo the lock. She's turning and turning and turning. Yeah. The water's going down.
Yeah.
The boat is sinking. Goodbye, people. Goodbye, people. Where did that boat go? Now you see it, now you don't. It's so incredible. Now, what's the whole reason for a lock? Is the water's different level?
Yes.
And then they open the gate, and then they can go through there? Isn't it?
Then the water will fill it again.
Oh.
For the next one.
Oh. Look at them, the boat's sinking in front of our eyes. Oh, they must have come here just for me. So I can film this. It's a little bend. Look at that, it's almost gone. I think I'd be a little scared down there in the dark. Oh, they're still close to the water. Oh, here it opens, starting to open now, the gate. Open the gates now. And there goes the boats. Sailing down the town on a lazy Sunday afternoon in the springtime. The boat's lower and it's the same level as the other water and it's going. Here's the driver. It would be nice to see the water fill up. I guess it has to for the next one.
If you guys meet you in up, you
start arriving soon.
That was the original Gough tub in Canal.
This lady has a snake around her neck on the boat.
I am flying like a bird across the sky. I am flying, passing by to be near you, to be free. Can you hear me?
Now this goes up again. Next photo.
When Sandra Van Doorn used to make really good music, now he's shit. He's very I like it when Sandra Van Doorn is making like
We're going to get them both in together. How about that? Side by side. The price of one.
That's Hampstead. Very central, yeah. Yeah, close.
Close that lock. High water. Gate. Open the gate.
So good, right?
Let the water. Two of them cranking away either side. And the water's going down and the boats are going down only on the far side. Down, down, down.
But I don't get paid for that. So when I don't work, I don't get money.
Guys are holding on so they don't hit each other.
But
Side by side. This lady has a snake around her neck on the boat. This is one of the oldest video
Yeah, he's one of the oldest polishers.
polishers of diamonds.
Yeah.
And this is a diamond he has in his hand now?
Yes, he's polishing the diamond.
Wow. Too close.
But square cut or pear shape, these rocks don't lose their shape. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Ooh, you're a holiday, such a holiday. Ooh, you're a holiday, such a holiday.
Intenzione di rimanere o è solo una cosa di...
A me piacerebbe.
Quanti anni hai?
Quanti me ne dai?
Più o meno una ventina, una ventina.
Ce n'ho 19.
I found that the world is round, and of course it rains every day. Living tomorrow, where in the world will I be tomorrow? How far am I able to see? That is how
And I ain't no fool for love songs whispering in my ears. Still crazy after all these years. Still crazy after all these years. Tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away. Someday our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument. And nothing comes from violence, nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. All the rain will fall, our tears will fall, our tears will fall. All the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
My mum also took out the same thing.
Okay.
But it was what we call the July. Building that,
Building what?
like using the stuff to build like the temple, isn't that a good thing? So I
Yes,
thought,
good question. Okay, we'll answer that. Yeah. Do you have a question? We'll see again. Do you have a question? Do yourself. You've got my mitzvahs coming up in Shelley. And what school are you into? Emmanuel College. When's your bar mitzvah?
in 100 weeks.
In 100 weeks.
I'm Benji, and I'm going to the Alpha, and my mitzvah is 5th of December this year.
Which September?
5th.
That's okay.
My name is Lloyd, I'm going to Yavna. My mitzvah is February next year.
Very nice.
My name is Nathan, I'm going to Kenwood College, and my mitzvah is the 2nd of January 2016.
Lovely. Very nice. Great to meet all of you. Day.
How 4 days passed?
You mean what happened during those first few days?
How has 4 days passed if the sun was created on the 4th day?
That's a good question, and I'll make your question even better. Because on the first day, we're told, and there was day and there was night, day 1, by Locke. So how can there be day and night, day on the first day without the sun? So what exactly was that? So the Talmud, in answering your question, tells us that before the sun was created, there was a spiritual light. And that spiritual light gave people an awareness, well, there were people, okay, but gave the world that connection with God. And that spiritual light continues to exist. And it's the light of the soul through which we exist in this world and also through to the world to come. So that we've got bodies and we've got souls. And that light, that spiritual light, is what kept the world going during those first few days. Yes, thank you for your question. Yes, Josh.
Why can't you have meat and fish on the same day?
Why can't we have meat and fish? If you're a Sephardi, then you can. This is only something that Ashkenazim keep. So the origin of Simchat Torah is quite recent. It started with a man called Ezra, who in the 4th century before the Common Era introduced the public reading of the Torah. And originally there was a 3-year cycle, a triennial cycle. So Simchat Torah only took place once every 3 years. And that meant that there were approximately 162 Sedras. We've got 54 Sedras. So if you had your bar mitzvah way back, or those centuries ago, your portion was 1/3 of the size of our portions today. Now, the triennial system was a good system because it meant that lady was shorter. However, it was decided in the city of Alexandria, in Egypt, where there was a strong Jewish community, to introduce an annual system of Torah reading and to start on the 2nd day of the last day of Yom Tov, because the Jews were now in the diaspora, not in Israel, primarily in that time, and they wanted to do something special for the 2nd day of Shmini Atzeret, and that's how Simchat Torah came about. So Simchat Torah, as we know it, was only absolutely entrenched in Jewish tradition in the 9th century, which is quite recent, if you look at all of Jewish history. And that date for Simchat Torah was chosen by us. It wasn't given by God in the Torah. God doesn't mention Simchat Torah in the Torah. We created Simchat Torah as a starting point and the ending point for our Torah reading. Yeah, the last maybe last one more question, then we'll have the chief rabbis. Okay, right. Do you have another question, mentioning it to you?
Change it, so do they say Yigdal and dismiss that verse out?
So, what are you asking me?
How do they say Yigdal if like they're sort of like contradicting what they're saying?
I think you'll have to ask them that question. Okay. All right. Chief, are we going to ask a question? Yeah, so the question I would ask the children is, how do you become bar mitzvah? Right? Yes?
Just have to be 13.
You what, sorry?
Just have to be 13.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting the right answer to be said. I was expecting you to say you become bar mitzvah when you're called up to the Torah, or you become bar mitzvah when you have a party, you have bar mitzvah on the Shabbos. No, all of those are wrong. Well done. You become bar mitzvah without sometimes even realizing it. It's the calendar that determines you are bar mitzvah. Okay, so now let me ask you the next question. So when you turn 13 on the Hebrew calendar, what's the difference between the day before your bar mitzvah and the day after your bar mitzvah? What difference does it make in your life? Yes?
So, day before your you don't intend to your mitzvahs and your sins, but because your father, but afterwards, all your sins would be on all your good deeds would be yours.
Excellent. So the day before your bar mitzvah you're still a child, the day after your bar mitzvah you're an adult. Do you think that that's right? Do you think when people are 13 and when girls are 12 they are adults? Would your parents think that you're adults then? Well, what do you think? Well, okay. So let me explain. When we say that you're an adult at that age, it means that you are old enough to know the difference between true and false, and the difference between right and wrong. To be responsible. So let us say there was a little child here. Let's say the 1.5-year-old toddler has just learned how to walk. And that little toddler walks up to this table and throws the biscuits on the floor. Would you say that that's a naughty child? No. The child's just doing stuff, right? The child's still learning. So the child's not naughty. And a bit older, well, you could say, well, the child's still learning. The child still needs to be educated. In Jewish tradition, we're very generous. We give excuses to people up to a certain point. So for a boy up to the age of 13 and girl up to the age of 12, we can say, children are children, and, lack of experience, and boys will be boys, and girls will be girls, etc. But when you reach bar mitzvah and bar mitzvah age, you run out of excuses. By that time, you definitely know in your own mind what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false, and therefore you stand before Hashem and you are accountable for your deeds. That is what bar mitzvah is about. Okay? And that's why in Jewish tradition you can say the bracha over the throne, you can be included in the minyan because you're adult enough to know that difference. And we're looking to you because you are the most important people for us, because you're our future. You're going to be the adults in the future. And what we're hoping is that with the responsibility you have, you will make the right decisions. To be good people, to be decent people, to be responsible people in society, and to be good Jews, and to always support your community, and to do what is right in the eyes of Hashem.
Amen.
Okay.
Chief Rabbi, thank you so much for this over. Now, before we ask, we can just get a picture.
Is this thing taken? Not as far as I know. Okay. I don't know what I can put on here to save my seat, but I want to take some photographs. Sorry? I want to take some photographs, but I want to be able to sit down at times. Can you keep it available for me? Yeah. I don't know.
And the children, Israel, Kami, and Yocheved, and Hershey's families, for donating our new Seder Torah, and to those members of the community who have dedicated a Seder in today's commemorative brochure. And please join us for brunch afterwards.
About the Sefer Torah and the parade we're about to do today. So Sefer Torah, which is a Torah scroll, is the most precious object. We are in fact in the middle of the 49-day period which anticipates the receiving of the Torah. We are between the festivals of Passover and our miraculous exodus from slavery in Egypt. That was followed by 49 days of journeys. We're about to take out. We would like to invite you all to join with us. We will be going down the shore this way, all the way around. And as we pass here, men pass around here, we invite the ladies if they'd like to join with us and to parade around. We'll be going down a few times with the Sefer Torah. The Sefer Torah, last few lines of the just under an hour's time will be enjoyed this morning. It's most especially Sefer Torah. Mazel Tov.
For out of Zion shall go forth the Lord, in the word
from Jerusalem. Heavenly Father, remember the Israel Defence Forces, the guardians of our holy land. Protect them from all distress and anguish, and send blessing and prosperity upon all the work of their hands. Grant peace in your holy land and everlasting happiness to all its inhabitants, so that Jacob shall again have peace and tranquility, with no one to make him afraid. Spread the tabernacle of your peace upon all the dwellers on earth. May this be within your will, and let us say,
So perhaps this is a divine providence for our community in Shelley that today we have received our Torah, and please God, this will pave the way that we'll soon have our own permanent home in Shelley for our Seder Torah and our community. It is so fitting that this Sefer Torah, this Torah scroll, has been dedicated for the memory of Rabbi Shmuley Kass. Rabbi Kass was a teacher and a role model for what it means to live a Torah life. A life of learning and dedication to the community, a life of kindness, a life of striving to make a difference. May the Almighty bless us to use this Torah scroll and its teachings to continue to build on the wonderful work of Rabbi.
Mayors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Zeh Hayom Masah Hashem Nagila, the Nisnechavod. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will be glad and rejoice thereon. These words from the Hallel prayer which we chanted this morning aptly sum up our joyous feeling at a time when we dedicate the entry of a new Sefer Torah to the Ark of the Shenley United Jewish Community. As Rabbi Gough mentioned, this is my second visit to your community, and how wonderful it is for me after the first visit, when I inducted you into office, to come now again and to see you and your dear Rebbetzin fully ensconced here, doing so very well, leading this community, being a great inspiration here and well beyond the confines of this Kehillah. Rabbi Gough, may Hashem bless you for continuous blessing and success in all your outstanding endeavors. And you are blessed, Rabbi Gough, here to have partners through Darren Spellick and his team to enable this to be an outstanding partnership of spiritual and lay leadership for this community, as a result of which Shenley is outstanding, it is vibrant, it is vital. You are achieving so much, and today's event is a symbol of the vitality of this Kehillah and of a glorious future which will certainly follow. And how fitting and apt it is that this Sefer Torah is being dedicated to the memory of Rabbi Shmuley Kass, Sefer Tzadik Livracha, and how moving it is for us this morning to have Batsheva and the children here, together with Margaret, David, and all the family. And there could not be a better person to dedicate the Sefer Torah to his memory on this occasion. You know there are approximately 600,000 letters in a Sefer Torah, matching the number of Jewish people who left Egypt. And if one single letter of the Sefer Torah is pasul, if it is rendered unfit, the entire Torah is pasul, it cannot be used. And so too with the Jewish people. Every single person counts. Every person is like a letter within our national Sefer. When somebody is in trouble, all of us are in trouble. Every person who walks through the door of our synagogue is special to us. And those who don't come through the door are also special to us. Every single person counts, and that is our United Synagogue ethos. And that is certainly the attitude of the Shenley community. This is the direction that was initiated by Rabbi Kass, and which has been followed through to this day, as a result of which you have a sense of warmth, a welcoming atmosphere. Everyone here counts in your midst. Yesterday in our Torah reading of the Seder of Shmini, we came to the middle words and also the middle letter of a Torah. Indeed, right now, we are smack bang in the middle between last Simchat Torah and the next Simchat Torah. So what is the middle word of the Torah? Actually, there are two middle words. And that is because there's an even number of words in every Torah. And by the way, how do we know what the middle words are the middle letters? Well, you see, Bernard Ben Arosh is here, outstanding sofer who has helped in the restoration of the Sefer Torah. The Hebrew word for scribe is sofer. Sofer comes from the word mispar, a number, mispar, to count. The sofer is somebody who counts. Because our scribes had to count letters and words. In pre-computer times, that's the only way in which they would know if there was a letter or word missing, or if they repeated something. So we were continuously counting. And that's why, thousands of years ago, we knew the middle words of the Torah, the first verse of Kamishi that we read yesterday. Darosh is the last word of the first half of the Torah. Darash, the first word of the second half of the Torah. Coming from drosha. To be doresh means to inquire, to investigate, to deepen our knowledge through asking questions and finding the answers to those queries. Darash represents what our Torah tradition is about. The Torah is not just something to reside in it must be in our hearts, it must be in our minds. The content of the Torah needs to be played out in our lives. Darash. And the only way that can be achieved is through the study of Torah, through which we can internalize its values. And what is the middle letter of the Torah? It's in Shvi of yesterday. The Vav in the word Gough. So the letter Vav is the middle letter. As indeed, the letter Vav is the first letter in every column of the Torah, with the exception of only 5. You see, Vav is a Hebrew word. It means a hook. And the letter Vav has the shape of a hook. It's the greatest connector. And that's why all the columns start with a Vav. They're linked up, they're connected, they're part of the Sefer Torah, which in its entirety was given by God to Moses and through Moses to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. And the middle letter is the Vav, because it connects the first half and the second half of the Torah together. The first letter of the Torah is the Bet of Breshit. The last letter of the Torah, as we heard beautifully laid by David, is the Lavan from the word Israel. National mourning. No weddings during this month. No candles during this month. We have a symbol of mourning upon our faces. It is at this time that we recall the events that took place in the year 35 of the Common Era, when the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva were killed by the Romans in battle. Rabbi Akiva himself was a martyr. He was killed cruelly by the Romans, and he uttered the words, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one on his lips, as they flayed his body with an iron collar. And just before that, when Rabbi Akiva was in prison, he shared a cell with another Jewish person whose name was Paulus ben Yehuda, who recorded his conversation with Rabbi Akiva when he was eventually released. This is what he said. I said to Rabbi Akiva, why have you done this? The Romans said it is forbidden according to their law to teach Torah. Why, Rabbi Akiva, did you teach Torah? You should have just kept quiet. You would have saved your life. Now that you insisted on teaching Torah, you were arrested and you're facing certain death. And he said, this is the answer that Rabbi Akiva gave to me. A parable. A fox one day came to the waters of a river, and he saw how the fishermen had cast their net into the waters of that river. The fish were jumping about, trying desperately not to be caught inside that net. So the fox turned to one fish and said, why don't you jump onto the dry land with me? In that way, you'll escape from the fisherman's nets. And the fish answered the fox and said, you're supposed to be the wisest of all animals. You're not wise at all. Here in the waters of this river, maybe I'll be alive, maybe I will die. But on dry land, for certain, I will die. And so too said Rabbi Akiva, through teaching Torah, who knows what my future might be? But if we, the Jewish people, stop learning and stop teaching Torah, for certain, we as a nation will perish. As we say every evening in our prayers, the Torah is our life and the length of our days. And so at this time we remember Rabbi Akiva and his teaching to us. Because sure enough, when it comes to the existence and the future of Jewish communities, it's lovely to have social events. It's great to have cultural events. It's good to get together, just as Jewish people, to share what we have in common, but ultimately what will guarantee our future more than anything else is the extent to which we study the Torah and we are committed to the Torah. Our Torah, which we're dedicating today, is in memory of Rabbi Shmuel. He was a person who was a great inspiration to one and all through the 30 short but very memorable years of his life. First of all, he is somebody for whom every single person counted, just like every letter in the Torah. Whoever that individual was, with his warmth and with his love and care, he reached out to one and all. And as a result, people feel his presence in their lives through to this day. He was a person who believed in the power of darash, to investigate, to learn, to research, to ask questions, to give answers, through which we can internalize Torah values. He was that person who was a symbol of the letter Vav, to provide continuity of our faith, of our traditions, and everything that is dear to us. He was somebody who provided for all those privileged to know the postage stamp for their lives, so that they could reach the destination they seek in their lives. He was a man of labor, a good-hearted and kind-hearted mensch. And like Rabbi Akiva, he realized the crucial importance of the Torah in our lives. As a result, it is so fitting that this Sefer Torah will exist in the ark of this synagogue, will be taken out, will be read from, and through it, Rabbi Shmuel's legacy will continue to live on in our midst. May I congratulate your Rabbi and Hampstead, the ladies and the entire community of the Shenley United Jewish Community for everything that you are doing to guarantee your future, for the success of all of your endeavors, and primarily for ensuring that through respecting the Torah, learning it, and appreciating its value, we together will please God have a great and glorious future. And may the Shenley United Jewish Community, as a result, go from strength to strength. Amen.
Amen.
Money, money, money must be funny in the rich man's world. Money, 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 always sunny in the rich man's world.
The siren is also a time to remember the victims of war and acts of terror. It is a time to stop our busy daily life, to focus inward, and to remember that with their death, they gave us life.
And how does one stand in a memorial ceremony? Erect or bent?
Pulled out as a tent, or limp, as in mourning.
Head humbled like the guilty, or raised in defiance against death?
Eyes gaping and frozen, like the eyes of dead, or closed to see the stars within. And what is the best time for remembering?
At noon, when shadows are hidden beneath it.
Or at twilight, when shadows lengthen like landings.
That have no beginning, no end, like God?
23,169 soldiers have fallen in Israel wars since its establishment on the 5th of year 1948. They gave their lives so that we could continue to live here. Life in the state of Israel must not be taken for granted. Today, with freedom to grow, learn, make choices, and develop as human beings in this nation, but it should not be taken for granted. It was made possible thanks to the soldiers who paid with their lives so that we could live our lives here.
Every year I stand on the siren, and the only thing I can think of is that they were also young when they were kids, and their fathers are always young. And I think about all the things they didn't have a chance to do or to experience.
And I feel how frightening it is that it could happen to us, to each one of us, at any moment. All the men in my family served in combat units and fought in Israel's wars. I come from a home where serving the country of Israel goes without saying. I stand in a siren, and then I feel with sadness. The sadness turns to anger. The anger turns to fear. Fear about everything that can still happen.
Moving from Hazikaron to Amsterdam is never easy for me.
I think about when I'll be in the army, that then could also be a war, and that makes me very afraid. I'm an only son, and my mother says that she will never let me serve in a combat unit.
Ever since I began to understand the meaning of the siren, I started to think I could become one of them. That in one moment, all of life and friends, all of that could be over. And then a sudden shiver runs through me.
Falls in his whole stature on the barren earth, rocks and dry weeds, and blood flowing, trickling away with life. Each year in summer, my father is young again, 36 years old, blooming in the prime of his life, dying again on the earth. Each year in summer, loneliness spreads its wings, and its shadow on the earth. Always my father, not growing older, looking the same, handsome and whole, like a sign of life.
Brother, year after year, that is my brother looking out of the picture, looking into my eyes, smiling and silent. Another look, year after year. He will never be not a father, not a groom. He will only be my little brother. My little brother. The distance between us grows all the time. What an unfair world, unprotected. We will meet again, my little brother, far, far away from here.
They brought me a dusty rucksack. They brought me a dusty rucksack, filled with the last moments of your life. They brought me the rucksack that passed many paths and journeys, holding moments of happiness. They brought me a dusty rucksack, packed by your own hands, the very last time. They brought me a dusty rucksack, dusty with dust of the desert, where you found your death. And you, they brought to me for the long farewell in your casket, adorned with love flowers.
I was always there to take away the frightened look in your eyes. I was always there to take away the monsters from your dreams. But I wasn't there beside you. I didn't take away the fear from your eyes. I didn't take away the still monster in the last moments of your life.
see your son grow into a young man. He's already a soldier now. It's his turn to protect us. How time passes. They say that even in your death, you help to save others. Thanks to your beautiful, wise, and optimistic eyes, 2 young boys can see the sunlight again. But not you. You will never see the sun anymore. Judith Cohen, may she rest in peace.
Become the soldiers of tomorrow. This is our country. This is our fate. This is our way of remembering where we have come from and where we are going.
The days will come, days of light and calm.
Days of friendship, brotherhood and love.
Days of peace and the end of war. Days of growth and war to the end.
Days of quiet and not of revenge.
Days of love, of fellowship and cleansing the soul.
Days of all nations as one.
Days to end all hatred and wars.
Days of love between all people who have fought all the years.
We will all pray and ask of God
to cease the spilling of blood.
Please stand.
Where are you going? Are you going to eat me? Are you going to eat me? I'm scared of you. You're on video. You're on video. You're a movie squirrel. You're famous. You're famous. I got nuts. Almonds. Chicken. Chicken. quack. Quack, quack.
I'll put your dinner out. Hey, come here. Come here, Smelly. Video.
Hello. Hi, you. Come and say hello. Come on. Don't be boring. Is it that mixture? Oh,